This is Davina Flame narrating Cursed Love, a story about my neighbor who fell in love with a spirit. Thank you for listening. The detective knocked on my door at exactly 10 a.m. I knew he was here to discuss the recent death of my neighbor, Amelia. Just last week, I had discovered her dead body withering away in bed. The detective and I began talking immediately after I ushered him inside. It is a long story, Detective. The last time I saw Amelia was May 3rd, about 1 month ago. She knocked on my door, desperate and pleading. I hadn't seen her in months before that. Why was she in such a bad state of mind? He asked. Based on my research so far, she spent almost all of her time at home. She had no job and no friends. What was the emergency? To understand Amelia, you need to understand the cabin, I responded. Let me tell you what I am trying to figure out, the detective went on. The woman who died in that cabin was in her late 80s. She lived alone. But Amelia was fresh out of college when she moved here just 5 years ago. She told her family that she loved the house and that she was moving in with a roommate. When they saw a picture of the broken-down cabin, they were adamant that it was not Amelia's style, that she would never have wanted to live there. I tried to start talking. Well, Detective, people who move into that cabin typically fall in love, but not with the cabin. Clearly there has been a mistake, he interrupted. The Amelia I am looking for is in her late 20s, not in her 80s. We are suspecting something along the lines of identity theft. Her family hopes that she is still alive somewhere, but are very concerned that she either was kidnapped or ran away. Perhaps she even faked her death. All reasonable assumptions, Detective, I responded. But you don't live around here. You don't understand that cabin. The Amelia you are looking for did move in there 5 years ago. She did so by herself. There was no roommate. Again, you don't understand the cabin. So what you're saying is that she lied to her family? Asked the detective. No, Amelia was just mistaken. This has happened before. This has happened before? Asked the detective. Please go on. What am I missing? I began again. People never fall in love with that cabin. They fall in love with the spirit that haunts it. I don't believe in ghosts, uttered the detective. Well, in that case, you won't believe what I have to tell you. But I can assure you that this has happened before. The spirit that lives there can be very charming. Many times, prospective renters fall in love with the spirit immediately upon entering the cabin. That's ridiculous, exclaimed the detective. It may sound that way, but it's true. I tried to warn her on multiple occasions. I tried to get her to leave. She refused to listen and eventually isolated herself in the cabin. The detective pulled out a photo of Amelia. Take a look at this photo. This is a photo of Amelia from right after she graduated college. Is this the person who lived next door? Yes. That's exactly how she looked when she moved in. But a strange thing happens when you fall in love with a spirit, particularly the one next door. They drain away your life's energy. Says who? Did she appear tired? Drained? Asked the detective. No, quite the opposite. She was ecstatic. I've never seen someone as happy before. She was absolutely in love with that spirit. I tried to tell her that it wasn't an actual person. She refused to believe me. I warned her that every day she stays in love with that spirit, her body will age by 2 weeks. Age by 2 weeks? That doesn't make any sense, said the detective. Well, it's true, and she even knew it was happening. At first, she told me that it was worth it, that she had never felt love like that before, that she had been waiting her entire life to meet someone like him. For the first month, She refused to believe me. Of course, she didn't notice much of anything in such a short amount of time. How much can a person change in a month? Or in her case, 14 months. She became infatuated with the spirit, telling me that she had never felt so in love before, that she had been waiting her entire life to meet someone like him. She wanted to stay with him forever, and that's exactly what she did. It took her a full 6 months of living there to come to terms with the truth I had warned her about. She admitted that I was right all along, when she came to me in tears. By that point, she was 23, but looked more like 30. "You still look so young," I told her. "You can still escape. You can still live a good life. Just get out of that cabin. Move into my house if need be. You can't keep staying there." But by then she couldn't stand the idea of leaving the spirit. It was too real to her. It seemed more human and more compassionate than any actual person. That's when her isolation grew, like the other tenants before her. They understood what was happening, but couldn't bring themselves to leave. Amelia would lie to herself. She would constantly tell herself that she would stay for just one more week, or even just one more day. But as she isolated herself away, her social life dwindled. She stopped looking for work. She stopped speaking to me, embarrassed that I knew her deepest secret. She didn't want her family and friends to see what was happening to her, so she ignored them as well. I didn't see her again for an entire year. By then she looked to be in her mid-40s. "You can't keep doing this to yourself," I pleaded. "Do whatever it takes to get out." The detective spoke up. "I don't believe any of this. There is nothing like this in the scientific literature. There is no natural explanation for spirits or rapid aging." "Well, detective, I urge you to check the records. See who has lived in that cabin over the decades." "I have a better idea," he said. "I'm going to investigate that cabin right now. Suit yourself. I have been entrusted with an extra key to show the cabin on occasion." I pulled a key out from my kitchen drawer and led him outside, across the lawn, and to the cabin. "Looks really run down," he said. "Doubt it would pass an inspection." We walked inside to a strong smell of rotting wood and mold. The front door opened to a family room, which was attached to a kitchen, restroom, and a bedroom. "I can't quite place the smell," the detective said. I told him about the rotting wood and the mold as I covered my nose. "No, it actually smells rather pleasant. I think it's coming from the kitchen." We walked into the kitchen where the smell was strongest. "That smell is amazing," exclaimed the detective. "And the views from this window. I have never seen such a fantastic view, straight to that swing hanging from that beautiful tree. I certainly see why Amelia fell in love with this house. In reality, the swing was also broken and rotting, but I didn't say anything. I let him explore the small cabin as much as he wanted to. Perhaps he would find something he was looking for. I let him wax poetic about the bathroom and its intricately designed tile work. The tile work that I had clumsily done in a rush in one afternoon. I let him describe how the cabin seemed to be calling to him in a melodious tune, as he stepped onto creaking floorboards that I should have fixed a decade ago. When he was done wishing all of the spiders and insects good morning, complimenting the leaky pipes, and praising the craftsmanship of the warped beams holding up the foundation, I approached him with a rental agreement. He signed it without a second thought. It was for the better this way. He was asking a lot of questions, and I had given him a lot of answers. Answers that could have landed me in a lot of trouble. But the detective was in his 50s. In 6 months to a year, he will be unrecognizable. He will be dead in a few years, He will start to hear the Spirit's voice tonight, and by this time tomorrow, they will have fallen in love. If he asks, I'll warn him about the dangers of staying. If he panics and begs me to help him reverse the aging like Amelia had, I'll tell him the truth, that there is nothing he can do. I won't tell him the entire truth, though, how his fading life force keeps me young, how when he dies in that cabin, his spirit will fuse with the rest of them, the dozens of others who have met the same fate over the last century. He will be trapped in that house for as long as I live, which will hopefully, with his help, be forever.